Welcome back to the Jungle Brothers podcast. Big news today. We have a brand new Jungle Alliance gym opening up on the Northern Rivers. This is going to be our second gym on the Northern Rivers, and this will be in Cabarita Beach, which is 45 to an hour north of Jungle Ballina, Tiora's gym. And this is super exciting news, hot off the press. The lease for this place only got approved a few days ago. So at the time of recording this episode, it hadn't yet been confirmed. But this gym will be owned by Esther and Luke Mason. And today's chat is with Esther. So this was a chat that we had when her and Luke were in Sydney. They came down. They had some courses to do here. We spent some time talking about their prospective Jungle Alliance gym. And we had today's chat on the podcast really with the idea that the gym was going to go ahead. So things weren't consolidated yet, but we pretty much took it as, yes, this is happening. And so today's chat's really cool. We'll talk all about it. It's really cool to get an insight into her experience on how it's been and, working with us and why the Alliance is attractive to her and her husband who are, really looking to start and run their own thing and build their own fitness community. So yes, please enjoy the chat. I won't tell you any more about it. Let's just jump in. Before we jump into that though, you need to know that we have our next Coaches Intensive coming up at the end of this month. It's the course for anyone who wants to be a world-class coach. So if you are currently working as a coach or a trainer, a group fitness instructor, or maybe it's just something that you are planning to work in down the track, you want to do this course. This is where we have distilled all of the key skill sets we believe a world-class coach has to possess. And we do a deep dive into them over 2 days. It's here at the gym. It's facilitated by myself with guest presenters, other coaches, and leadership here at Jungle Botany. It's open to anyone. There are no prerequisites to enroll. The dates are Saturday and Sunday, 27th and 28th of May. If you are interested in attending the course, get in touch with me, Joey at junglebrothers.com, and I'll put a link to that in the show notes. And let's have a chat and see if it's going to be the right course for you. I'd love to tell you more about it. It is also the entryway into the Alliance. And you'll hear in the episode, Esther talks about that was her first exposure to us. She came and did a Coaches Intensive sometime last year, and now she's opening one of our gyms. Story has played out in a beautiful way, and very excited to see where that goes. Let's jump into it. There is no big intro. I'll do one separate.
I wanted to hear my rap sheet.
Please. Not your first time podcasting. What podcast have you spoken on before?
It was a long time ago actually, but there was a guy I think it was in Newcastle, and he was running a gym called the Youth Academy, and it was really cool. He really was dedicated. Do you know him? Young guy?
Nick?
Yes.
Nick Mayer.
Oh, where is he?
I met him. I didn't know him well, but I met him a couple of times. Lovely guy.
The nicest.
I believe, I think his, and I don't want to get this wrong, but I think his wife got cancer.
Oh, you're kidding.
And I think he was like, I got to focus on that.
Yeah.
And I hope I didn't get that wrong, because that's obviously a big deal. But yeah, it was something. It was really sad.
Yeah.
I don't know how that went.
Because it just seemed like he was like so generous with his time and effort for kids, and I just really admired what he was doing down there. And then I'm pretty sure like COVID might have happened at a similar time, and I just remember it everything I couldn't find him on socials or anything anymore. So I was pretty sad, and I was really curious to see where he was. So yeah.
No, damn shame. How did you end up? Because his gym was the Youth Academy. It was for teenagers and stuff, right? For kids. Yeah. How did you get involved?
Just social media.
You're like, hey, look, I know I'm like 30, but can I come and train at your gym?
Pretty please. No, I think honestly it came back to my time in the States, and my time at On It.
Drop the names.
I know, but we'll get into that a bit more. But just that style of training, this was kind of, I don't know if you do follow hashtags. You like, hashtag Functional strength training.
Oh, I don't follow hashtags now.
Oh, okay, well, this was kind of when
in terms of using hashtags as a way to navigate.
Yeah, and
no.
you could subscribe or follow a hashtag, and then anything that comes up on that topic would come up in your feed. So, we basically found each other that way. And he was like, cool, I can't believe you're over there. I know you're from Australia. And we just kept chatting online, and then he just asked me to be on his podcast. So I was at a surf camp in Sumatra, I think. And so I did it on like a really dodgy internet connection just on my laptop.
Girl,
cool.
you are a hardcore networker. Like,
it just seems natural though, right? With social media, it just seems that everybody's just so available. And
it was built for you. This whole shit. Like, I mean, just in the way that you connect with people.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
I think like my mum was like super strict. So I remember I started online dating when I was like 18. I was like, well, as soon as I could get on the internet, I was like, if you're not going to let me out of the house, I'm going to like leave via the internet. And now I'm married.
Right on.
Yeah.
What was, how old are you now?
37 this year.
So what did online dating look like when you were 18?
Oh.
Like it wasn't apps and shit. It was.
No, it was just websites like RSVP and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I had no intentions of going on a date. I just wanted to communicate with people.
You were on
online.
there just to connect with folks.
Yeah. I'm an only child. So definitely wanted to.
And there must have been a big, was naivety a big part?
Oh, yeah.
Or were you like, did you know what other people were there for?
I think it was a little bit less like how it is now.
Right.
Like I think people were actually trying to like find love or connect and stuff. Or am I still naive? Oh my God, I'm so like, no, girl.
So I met the guy at the hotel room just to chat.
There was just a 7-Eleven car park when I look back. No, look, I do. I love the internet. I love how, I mean, it's obviously, it's super toxic in some ways, but for what I like to use it for, the way I like to connect and keep in touch, and even like friends from school, like I'm one of those people that is still friends with them via all that stuff and I love that you can express yourself as well. Like my stories it's just my brain digitified. Is that a word? Digitified?
It is now.
But yeah, I love it. I think it's a cool expression, and I think I just feel lucky that I'm of an age or like a generation where I was pre-internet and now post-internet too. Like I think, yeah, it's cool.
It's so refreshing because, like you said, there's obviously a real toxic side to it. But I think the default opinion of most of our people is like, it's fucked, I'm so glad I grew up when we didn't have phones and stuff. And of course, there's a bunch of things that have changed, because of the technology that we now have. But it's almost like people just don't acknowledge some of the good stuff that it's brought. And you can really use social media and, I mean, even podcasting and stuff, right? Like it's kind of all part of the same thing in many ways. You can use it to a really good effect if you kind of take that perspective with it.
Yeah. I'm not like wanting to be like an influencer. I think I'm actually the influenced when I think about it. I'm like the one that's like, I just love consuming the content, and I know it can be an echo chamber and you get that confirmation bias from the stuff that comes through on your feed. But I also think that it's cool to know that other people will share the same opinions and you can bounce ideas off like-minded people. Is that not like, the thing is that the people that are on there or the stuff that you're consuming reflects your interests. And I think that's cool, and that's how we find people that, that we can connect with across the world. So, yeah, it's cool. But, within moderation too,
Of course. How did you connect with us initially? Because we connected when you came to our coaches intensive.
Yeah.
Which was that like late last year?
October,
okay.
But we were here.
Damn, man, shit's moving quick.
I know, it's fast. It's relative, right? Time is relative to your age. We're older, so things happen faster.
It's true, but I think you've done a lot. Like we've progressed things a lot in that time as well.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not like been sort of idly just drifting by.
No.
How did you get in that connection with us?
So we were actually down here at Easter last year, and my husband Luke, He does jiu-jitsu, and that's what we've always travelled for, like jiu-jitsu, like going around and going to different gyms, like in Hawaii and just different places. And so he wanted to come and check this out. So I don't know how he connected with you, but obviously probably through social media as well.
Instagram, DM.
Instagram. Did he slide into yours?
He did.
Cute.
Yeah, it was nice. Send a message and then a picture of his smiley. No, he didn't send a selfie. Not that kind of guy.
No, he's definitely not that kind of guy. But yeah, so then we came up here with our daughter as well, and you guys had a little bit of a roll up here. I don't know if it was like Easter Monday or something like that. And that was really it. That was the end of it. And then
so that was like a year ago to last weekend.
Yeah, that's right. And then as you know, I run a gym up in Pottsville, and I was just feeling super, I don't know, just super devo and sort of in I want to say a victim mentality. That sounds a bit extreme, but I was just really frustrated with my team, essentially, if I'm going to be honest. And not with them as people, but I was just frustrated with our dynamic in the workplace. I felt like I was a barking, harping sort of mum. I might not have been, but that's just how I was. I was sick of the sound of my own voice, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, I was sick of driving all of the ideas and programs and just anything. Any. I know as I was running the business, that was my job, was to to do that, to push it in whatever direction. But I just really wanted more from them. And so at first I was, again, like frustrated at them, for lack of a better term. But then I sort of just took a step back and just sat there in it and sat in this discomfort and thought, what can I do? What can I do to bring them to meet me halfway? And I was telling Luke about this, and he mentioned that you guys were doing a coach's intensive. So I just looked at the little post on Instagram. That was it. Like, I had no context about this place. And I was like, yep, that sounds – I think it was the finger, like you were pointing your finger at the camera, like, you. And I was like, that's me. He's pointing to me. It was really effective. And so I came down. Like, I just booked it. It was really quick. Booked it and came down and spent 2 days with you. And I actually remember I came in on Friday morning and Paulie was training, and I had no idea who was who in the gym, okay? So Paulie comes up to me, he's like, oh, hey, how's it going? I was like, oh, yeah, good, man. And he was like, oh, just trying to be, like, welcoming, but I just thought he was, like, some dude that trained here. So I was like, oh, where are you from? Like, where do you live around here? And he was like, oh, yeah. I was really so offstandish with him. I was like, I'm just here to see Joey, okay? I'm just here to see Joey. I don't know what you're doing. Anyway, over the weekend, I found out who he was, and I saw him back on Monday. I felt so bad. I was like, Paulie, my God. But he was super chill about it. But, yeah, so I just didn't know who anyone was. But everyone was so awesome. Like, the trainers, facilitators, the coaches. Everyone was just so cool, and I just felt super happy straight away. I felt like I just met a whole bunch of people that were my vibe and that were like on fire and energized about their job as a coach. And that's why I was like, this is what I mean. Like, this is the culture that I'm seeking, whether it's, and again, in my time at On it was like that. There was huge culture, huge community, without saying the word cult. And that's kind of, but yeah, that's how I felt. Being here, I just felt instantly just welcomed. And so that was it. Like, we spent those 2 days together, and heaps of stuff came up for me that I wasn't expecting.
Some tears, weren't there?
Such a crybaby. Like, not even a crybaby, but such a crybaby. Like,
it can be an emotional event. I know you weren't the only one to bring tears to the table, I'm sure.
Pedro? He was,
Did you bring some tears?
He started me off. Because he was like saying all this good shit he was going to do with his money. He was going to like help people and shit. And I was like, you kidding, man? Like, I just want a G class. I don't know what this is about, He's golden. That boy is golden. But yeah, he started me off. And yeah, again, you just asked some pretty hard-hitting questions. They might not have been intended that way, but it really evoked a lot of emotion and a lot of questions in myself about what I was doing with my time on the planet. And, yeah, I remember at the end of the presentation you were like, Jungle Pottsville. And I was like, oh, damn, what? But But anyway, off the back of that, took everything I learnt and went back to the gym that I'm at and started coaches development in our gym. And just huge. It's just so huge as far as how much more I understand their motivations. And it's so varied across every trainer. They've got all these different ideas about what they want to do with their time. And they've got different goals and different dreams, whether it's travel or, you know, things about their family or courses they want to do. And so we've been addressing that each week and trying to reverse engineer how they can meet those dreams and goals by being efficient, effective, and motivated with their time in the gym with us.
Right on.
Know? Even if it does mean losing them down the track, it doesn't matter. It means they're going to be inspired and, yeah, just switched on and yeah, just happy and positive to be in our workspace. So they weren't expecting it either, and they've all, at first it felt like, what are we doing? But then they all came back to me individually after, and they were like, I'm loving this. You know, at first it was difficult, but now I can see the value of it, and I just feel like we're getting to know you better. And, yeah, so it's been really amazing, amazing way to connect. Because we're a small gym too, so you constantly are just, it's like you open the gym and then you close the gym. You're like, I don't even know what the fuck happened today. Like, it's just so chaotic, and everyone's running around doing their classes, doing their clients, cleaning the toilet, cleaning the dumbbells, that we don't get enough time to just sit down and reflect. And, yeah, that's what we do it every Friday at 12 o'clock after the rush, and, you know, before everyone goes home for the weekend. We sit out there in the pool area for an hour, go through everyone's goals, go through their actionable items that they set the week before, see how they're going with those. Even if they didn't hit it, it doesn't matter. It just means that they know what they're meant to be doing, and just reschedule it for the week after. So it's just a weekly reflection, and then from that they go home for that on the weekend and plan how they're going to attack that the week after. They might get it done on the weekend, or they might just use that time to sort of like brainstorm how they're going to promote that thing or do that pricing or structure that program for kids or whatever it might be. So, yeah, it was amazing. It was a really awesome course that you put on, and yeah, I'd really recommend it. Like, because I don't think you started it for people from the outside to come in, did you?
No, it was originally intended to prepare our newer coaches or people who want to become a coach here to, you know, step into that role, and it just evolved into a thing that's kind of like a leadership course, really, when I think about it, and that is what I think coaching is. You know, it's like, I think if you look at any great coach and then you just change that and think, are they also a great leader? They usually are. Like, they have those same sort of capacities that you would sort of assign to a great leader. So yeah, it changed into that whole thing, and now it is part of being in the alliance, but it's also something that I feel very happy to kind of share with whoever, because it's like, it's whatever. Like, it's not earth-shattering stuff, right? Like, that we're telling you, that we were kind of telling you to do, like what you're talking about there, going back and creating a time and a space for your coaches to reflect and to share shit, and like, it's pretty basic really, but it's often what it takes, because business is so fucking busy that you kind of need someone to tell you, hey, you should do these specific things, and it's going to make your team perform better. Yeah. What was, you know, in that regard, would it be fair to say that, is it just making a time and space for the team? Is that really what the pivotal thing was? Yeah. Did you previously have that time and space? Right. No. So it's not necessarily what you were discussing so much, but it's like, hey, we create a container for this, and it happens every week. Yeah. And then from that, good stuff has come. And we don't talk about anything operational. We don't talk about spray and wipe. We don't talk about, you know, cleaning the dumbbells. Right on. We only talk about them as coaches and people, what their motivations, goals and dreams are, and what they're doing this week or in the next 7 days to get them closer to that goal. Okay? That's cool. So, like, anytime anyone's wanted to bring up a gripe, well, like, that's operational. You can throw that on Slack. We can discuss that on there, as far as like, no one put the bins out, whatever. That's just not, that's not valuable use of this time. Right. This time is only about
their goals that they have set, that they've told me about, or they've updated the goals because they can change, right? I tick that off, I've done it now. And that's what's been awesome. This happened in October and they've all hit like several goals, whether it's personal or professional, with this new focus on it, right? Whereas before they just turn up, go home, whatever, you know. So that structure is quite strict in when I'm facilitating it. It's just about them. They're the ones that are talking to me. So that's the biggest thing. And I guide them and ask them questions and prompt them, but they're the ones that talk the whole time. Yeah.
Awesome. It's so cool to hear. Yeah, I think you're like not the first gym manager or gym owner that's come to the course, but you're the first sort of person that came specifically like, hey, I've got a team that I manage and I want them to perform better, or I want the team to perform better. So I'm coming to the course to kind of, take away what I can for that. You're the first to do that. And it's cool. Cool to know that it's paid off in a way.
Yeah.
Tell me where Pottsville is, like for folks listening.
So Potty is just north of Byron, so like 20 minutes north of Byron, 20 minutes south of the border.
South of the Queensland border.
Yeah. So Tweed Coast, super beautiful beaches, super lush, coastal lifestyle. It's where everybody, really wants to be. And it is changing, like everyone from Sydney is moving up and Melbourne.
It's fucked.
So, properties through the roof. There's a lot more fancy cars driving around than there used to be. Like it used to be a lot of just work trucks or whatever, and now there's a lot of Mazdas and Porsches and totally big changes in the area at the moment. But I welcome it. Love gentrification. Gentrify me.
Girl, that G-Wagon's going to fit right in.
That's it. No, it's cool. It's a cool place. I love it. We're obviously about an hour north of T's gym in Ballina.
Right.
So that's cool. It's cool to be able to go down and visit him every now and then. But yeah, it's kind of in that way. It's a little bit of a hidden secret. So there's not a lot of businesses in that whole area, just as a whole.
Where do people go for stuff? Like, if you're like, where do people go for, I don't know, the businesses that, like.
Probably Tweed. So,
right.
Up on the border there, if they want to go to like Target or Kmart or whatever. We've still got like a Woolies and a Coles, like sort of 10, 15 minutes up the road. But it's weird. Like when you're there, you don't need anything, We still, we've still got the news agency and IGA and sushi and all that sort of stuff. But, it's a super like lifestyle location, but I don't feel isolated.
You've been to the pizza shop there, is it Garden Pizza?
Yes.
So I was talking to my boy Pillin this morning, who's actually on an episode, I don't know, 4, and he's like, oh, my friend Jacopo owns that.
Really?
He's like asking if they know him. Do you know him?
I went up to the pizza restaurant when they were out the front. Like they hadn't even opened yet. They were just finishing off the front. It was him and his like beautiful girlfriend, wife, I'm not sure, gorgeous. And I was like, oh my God, when are you guys opening? And it was like they were opening in 2 or 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then we went straight away. And it was awesome. Awesome pizza, like traditional style. I think I got like a mushroom pizza and Luke got a margarita. It was, really, really nice and just awesome vibe because they've got a little garden pizza. It's a little garden off to the side, a courtyard, and you can bring your own drinks and, so pizza and BYO, which is fun, yeah.
That's cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, man, that's the spot in Pottsville.
Yeah. Actually, the owner before him though.
Yeah.
He stitched me up. I remember I did all this stuff for him on his mobile phone, like because I used to work for Telstra and he was like, I can't do this thing with my Apple password. So I had to reset everything for him. It took me honestly like 35 minutes, right?
Because you're on the street doing this shit?
I was in the gym.
Right.
In the gym and I just like stopped what I was doing and helped this guy with his phone. And then he was like, you come down and you come and get a pizza. I was like, all right. Sounds good. And then I said, I messaged him. I was like, I actually can't come tonight. I'll come in a couple of weeks. Is that okay? And he was like, yeah, that's no problem. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I went there and I ordered the pizza and I found that there was like an off-menu pizza that like ticked all the boxes. I think it had like pork and fennel sausage on it and like some other cool stuff that wasn't on the menu. And I was like, I want this special pizza. And he was like, sweet. And then he was like, $27. And he charged me for the pizza. Oh my God.
And it wasn't the staff, it was him that charged you.
It was him that charged me.
What a dog.
Such a dog. Honestly.
And like, no,
dude. This guy, yeah, no.
No, I knocked a few dollars off for you.
No, nothing, dude. He asked me if I wanted to buy a tiramisu as well.
Wow.
What a guy. So I'm glad someone nicer is, in charge of that pizza place.
Did you pay and then, hey, can I just get your phone back for a sec?
I know.
Just fuck up all the settings.
Dude, he was like, his password, I mean, it's changed now, but his password was like his ex's name, and he had to go through all this stuff. He had to tell me about his breakup. I was like, dude, he took up a lot of emotion and energy from me that day. But anyway, poor guy.
That's funny, isn't it? Do you think he just couldn't not take the money when it was there, when it's like, I should give this to her for free, but it's $27?
No.
Or do you think that he forgot?
Look, he's done other things to other people I know since then, like personal trainers, hasn't paid them.
Right.
Just stuff like that. Dodgy.
One of those dodgy fucks with money.
He knows who he is.
Tell me, you mentioned On It. So this is a big gym over, is it in Texas?
Yeah, Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. If you ever listen to Joe Rogan, you'll know all about it.
Yeah.
It was a business that he was involved in.
Yeah.
How did you end up going over there and spending time in that part of the world?
This is actually it's just so crazy. Like me and Luke were in Cabarita, which is in northern WA, working in the mines, or it's not the mines, it's the ports, but I was in recruitment, hated this job, dude. Hated this job, but I used to have to drive out to mine sites. It'd be like a 4-hour round trip. And so I would listen to Joe Rogan's podcast. And I remember just being there on my own being like, if I ever meet this guy, I'm going to tell him that I used to drive through the desert listening to your podcast. And that was it. Anyway, that job, hated it so much. Literally was like, I don't want to anyway. So Luke was like, look, I've saved up a bit of money. Let's just go to Thailand for a Muay Thai camp. Let's just get out of here. So our lease was ended. So we went over to Tiger Muay Thai in Phuket and we did 2 months over there.
Ooh.
And Roger, I don't know if he's still there, but Roger Huerta was a coach there at the time.
One of the most handsome men to ever do it in the UFC.
My God. I think he was the first UFC guy on Sports Illustrated or something like that.
Wow, yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't see him fight a lot, but I just remember, damn, that dude's handsome.
Such a babe. Anyway, we actually had this thing because he would high five me. Whenever I'd see Roger, he'd offer me a high five and I would always miss it. Luke was he's like, can you just stop with a high five? Stop trying to high five Roger Huerta. I'm like, he starts it. He's like, you just don't. Just give him a peace sign, forget about it. So anyway, but I saw him one day and he had this other babe, obviously a babe, on the back of his scooter. And I was like, who's that girl? Anyway.
I bet she can high five him real good. Fucking clean connection every time.
Oh my God. But we had Luke had a jiu-jitsu session there and I came to watch, just wanting to watch, no big deal. And that girl came over across the mats to me and she was like, hey, I'm Whitney. Do you want to roll with me? And I'd literally never done jiu-jitsu before. And I was like, look, okay. So I did. It's so embarrassing. She completely wiped me up. And it's on YouTube, actually, one of her, day in the life ofs is her just, absolutely killing me. And it was Whitney Miller. And so we went for breakfast, all this stuff, and it turns out that she was actually Aubrey Marcus's girlfriend at the time.
Right.
And
big podcaster, another guy in that whole scene in Texas, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, huge. Obviously, started On It with Joe Rogan, and then he's got a fit for service situation now, sort of like a leadership thing that he does. But yeah, so she said, yep, you should come to the States and you can, come to Austin, come meet Joe, all this stuff. And I was like, what are we even talking about? This is crazy. And so she came to Bali with us. We spent another month in Bali with her. And then we ended up staying in Bali for another 6 months or something. And that was it. So that was it. She went home, whatever. And then the next New Year's, we went to LA and we met them in LA. And Aubrey was like, do you want to go to Joe's show tonight? Joe's doing a New Year's comedy special with Joey Coco Diaz, Ari Shaffir, Duncan Trussell. Do you guys want to come? And I was like, what is happening? I don't even understand what's happening right now. So we go there. This is my first time in the States. back in Cabarita, I used to drink double shot tequila, lime and sodas. So I'm at this comedy show ordering double shot tequila, lime and sodas. And in the States, it's 50 mils. A single shot is 50 mils. In
Much
Australia,
bigger than ours.
is 30 mils.
Oh.
So I'm drinking 100 mils of tequila every drink. And when it's just crazy. So I was so hammered. And then Aubrey's like, do you guys want to come backstage? And so I'm there absolutely shit-faced looking at Joe Rogan, and I just can't believe it. So I was like, oh, my God, this is happening. And Joe's like, hey, I heard that you guys work in the mines and your husband, like, does really long hours, and he goes, I have a friend that's a firefighter. He does these really long hours. I can't even really understand what Joe's saying. I'm so smashed. And I was like, no.
Are we on the podcast right now? How many hours has it been?
And I was like, no, Joe, listen. He doesn't do any of that. He just checks the air cons in the dongers. Not dick dongers, not dicks. These are dongers. They're like little houses at the mines. They're not dicks though. And Joe's like, oh my God. He's like, just stop. He's like, just stop. He goes, hey, do you want to come downstairs? We'll have a drink. It's all good. And I was like, and Luke was just like, are you serious? Like, can you not? I was like, I'm sorry. I will not talk to Joe Rogan anymore. So I just went over and like spoke to Ari Shafir for a bit. And it was just crazy. I just didn't know what I was doing there. But Joe did say to me, he goes, are you going to come to the gym? Are you going to come and hang out at On It? And I was like, what? He goes, if you are a trainer, you need to come and hang out at the On It gym in Texas. Like, you'll just love it. And I was like, well, fuck, if Joe Rogan tells you to go to Austin, Texas, then that's what you do. So me and Luke got married in February, and then I think it was July, I went and did 3 months solo in Austin, Texas at the On It gym.
So you didn't go there on that same trip?
No.
You came home?
Right. And, then went back. And, just hung out with Aubrey. They put me up in their house, in a condo downtown, and we just hung out there for 3 months in the gym, just connecting with like all the trainers, like Primal Soldier, all the classics. And it was cool. It was really cool. It was like a wonderland for adults, like with the supplements and the smoothie bar. It's just a dream gym, it's really cool.
And what were you doing? Were they running some kind of course that you were enrolled in?
Yeah, well, they did do weekend courses similar to yours, but different, whether it was a battle ropes course or a kettlebell course or their foundations course. And so I did a few of those, and then I did like a long-term course where I caught up with Isik, who was like the steel mace guy there. Isik, yeah, like Korean ninja dude. And I'd see him maybe 3 times a week, and I did that for 6 weeks so that I could get like super honed in on steel mace. So that was kind of my specialty when I left.
Right.
Yeah.
And so those courses, I'm just interested, kind of thinking about, stuff that we could do.
Yeah.
Are those courses like some kind of certification or points, or is it just like, hey, here's a skill set, here's someone that knows a bunch of shit about it, come and learn more? Or is it preparing you for something, you're getting some kind of qualification off it?
Well, look, it's not like CECs over here, like it's not actually going to, solidify your, qualification as a trainer, but it's just like you want to have like the full deck of cards. You want to have the whole On It sort of collection of courses,
Yeah.
But the actual quality of the courses, like it was Coach John Wolfe that was running them, like he is epic. Like he was such a good facilitator and an awesome coach. And I learned so much like when I was over there, and it basically, put me in really good stead for all my programming when I got back, like just how to sort of like how you guys here, like make sure people are doing the basics, the very, very basics perfectly, rather than like, oh, you can't do like a really cool push-up first, like just keep trying. Just keep trying on the full one. Like they would take it all the way down to that first level and then build you up from there, which is, pretty basic now. But at that time when I'd only been a trainer for like a year at that point, that was really beneficial for me.
Yeah.
And Steel Mace was obviously like super unique course, so that was cool. And then even just from that, just like this course here, I just got to connect with a bunch of really cool people from like around the world that I'm still like friends with now through social media. Actually, Dan Henderson came over while I was there. Oh,
no.
Yeah, he was there, and he did a weekend there doing, I think it was like DeFranco's. It was like an NFL training.
Joe DeFranco.
Yeah, he had like a little training academy in there, which meant there was heaps of NFL players that came through when I was there. But yeah, Dan did like a couple of sessions there, and we went out for like tacos or whatever.
Awesome.
He's cool.
He's a cool guy. He trained with us for a little while here.
Yeah, he's
Lovely
really
dude.
cool. He was probably the first guy I ever did a course with. After my Cert 3 and 4, he was the first guy I ever did a course with, and it was battle ropes.
Right, that he was facilitating.
Yeah. He was doing
FTI,
that.
is it? Is that his business?
And then I did training for Warriors as well.
Martin Rooney, yep.
Yeah.
I saw they did an event recently
Yeah.
and Martin was out.
Yeah. So it's cool, like, because in the industry, when you're with other coaches, I find that everyone's kind of like a bit diluted in a way. Whereas when you go to these courses, you find like really amplified characters and personalities that you can sort of like, I don't know, that energy is sort of like contagious, and you absorb that and you come back to your facility with like just new vibrancy. And so I love going to them. I love meeting those people that are like super, excited and stoked about their field.
It's interesting you say that. Yeah, that thing about the dilution, the impression that it's kind of diluted. Do you think that's sort of because, say, going back to the social media thing, where you're kind of connecting and following like a lot of people in fitness, and so you're sort of getting exposed to like a lot of high level movements and ideas and concepts, that so much so that it just becomes a bit like, I don't know, you don't connect with it as much?
Well, I think in social media, it's hard to say because I haven't met everybody on the end of those accounts, but those people to me seem pretty like ignited about what they're doing for them to be sharing that content, having enough confidence in what they're doing to film themselves and put that stuff out on the internet. I mean more so like within businesses, within fitness businesses, within gyms and things like that. I think some people, they just lose a bit of spark, or they sort of don't want to stick out too much. I don't know if it's like a generational thing, but they just want to just keep it basic, like keep it low key, and that's even Americans, like I love going over there and being with like really loud, over the top.
That's your people.
I think people get it wrong, like especially with Texans, they're so hospitable. Like I would go out and start a tab and I'd like have all intentions to pay for my own drinks, and then I'd get to the end of the night and they're like, all your drinks have already been paid for. Like you don't need to pay for anything.
Who's
like,
paying for this shit?
Just everyone at the bar. Anyone you've had, they're like, I'll pay for her drink. I'll pay for her drink. Like they're just always, and like like I said, Aubrey was putting me up, but even if it wasn't him, all my friends were like, come stay with me. Like they just have you in their home in like an instant. And so I think people have it wrong sometimes about Americans and Canadians. Like I love their energy and I love it.
Yeah, I don't. I totally agree. Like all of the people that I met traveling in the States and Canada, like, well, not every single one of them, but the majority of people were really cool.
Yeah.
But I do think in terms of energy, we're a bit more, we have a bit more suppression here. We don't outwardly promote ourselves. We're not as forthcoming with things.
Yeah.
We have our own ways of expressing ourselves, but I think we have a bit of like almost cultural inhibition.
Yes.
Which we would, so when we see their stuff, it's really easy to be like, oh man, they're so over the top and they're so loud.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, or maybe they're just not holding back with whatever the shit they want to say or the stuff they believe in.
Yeah. And I love that. Like, I just think, in a way, life is too short. Like, say it, be about it, just express yourself. You don't need to yell, but like, just be proud of the things you like. I was talking to JT downstairs, like, I'm at an age, and we're all at an age now where we can just say like, I like NSYNC. Like, I just like it. I like it, okay? I don't want to play, like, cool music anymore. I just want to play the shit that I like. Like, when I came in here, you guys had, like, I mean, it's Missy Elliott. It's, like, way more gangster than anything I used to listen to. But, like, I love that we can just listen and jam out to the songs that we genuinely like. We don't have to pretend anymore, I was explaining to him that I had like a Dawson's Creek CD, a soundtrack, and I was like trying so hard to like the songs because I was like, it's Dawson's Creek. Everyone else loves Dawson's Creek. I need to love Dawson's Creek music, Like, I tried so hard in my teens and 20s to fit in, and as soon as I started to just be myself, like all of a sudden I just met people that loved me for who I was, and I was like, oh wow, I can do this. And yeah, it's just weird, like, why do we hold back? What are we scared of when we could actually find people that like love us for who we really, really are, That's cute. That was really cute of me.
It's a cool message. I like that. So on that, do you feel like a place like Pottsville, which is a small town, right, coastal town, is it big enough for you? You know, just going off like your energy and you know, being in the States and all that, and then it's like, and now you live, you know, in this place, and you have your, you know, like I feel like since having a child, my life has gotten smaller in a really good way.
Yeah.
You know, my partner and I often refer to our little life together, where it's
Sure.
like things are real simplified now. But do you feel like, does that hit the mark for you, or are you like, no, one day I'm going to have to break out and like get back into the world kind of thing?
Well, I like I said before, I don't feel isolated there, but maybe there's something to feeling like, you know, one of the bigger fish in the pond. Like I like that. I love, because it feels like a sense of community. It feels like we can be more cohesive. Like when I walk around Pottsville, like it's hello every 30 seconds.
I
like
love that.
It's, you know, even if
People in the fucking city just avoid eye
Yeah,
contact.
That's right. So if I was here, even when I'm walking around here today, I'm like way too expressive.
Yeah.
Like I'm walking down to Bix to get a coffee, and I thought I was going to be late, so I like paid and then grabbed my toast that had a bit of bacon on it, and I kept eating it as I was like leaving the cafe, and everyone's like, what is she doing? Like, why is she being so extra, you know? But I liked it. Like I like being friendly, even to strangers, and Pottsville's full of strangers sometimes because of the holidays. We get lots of people coming in, and when you say hello to them, they're like, whoa, but then they immediately say hello back because it
These
feels
country
good.
girls are different.
But it feels good. It feels good to connect, and especially when it is a stranger, because you're like, they're not fucking going to see me again, you know? They're going to be like, that fucking girl said hello to me. Like, it says more about them, you know? So, no, I like it. I like that it's a small town. And we were in Cabarita before this, right? So that was a small town too, like a small, you know, iron ore gas town. And I felt the same there. It was cool to know everyone. I used to work in the gym and manage a cafe. So it was all about, yeah, just connecting every day with people. Whereas the city, I feel a little bit, you know, I feel underwhelming here in a way.
Right. Maybe you need to be extra when you're in the big smoke.
Botany's cool though. I like it here. It's like,
I don't think you're underwhelming in the city.
you don't think so?
No, just so you know my thought on that. No, not at all. No, you got big energy even here.
Oh, that's cool. I like it. It was cool to come back today. You know, like when I walked in, Chloe was there, JT was there, Kyron was there, Ash was there, and I was like instantly like running, give everyone a cuddle. It just felt cool to like reconnect, you know, after being back, like since I left, following everyone, commenting on everyone's socials, and then nothing beats being in person again, you know. So it's cool.
So can we talk on the plan, which is for you to take the jungle to your end of town? Mm-hmm. The working title that got thrown around in the earlier stages was Jungle Pottsville, but you've been looking elsewhere.
Yeah.
Can you just give us an overview of what's happening there?
Yeah, so when I had the course here and then you said that, it like obviously evoked a lot in me, and went back and spoke to Luke. Like, we had always wanted to do our own thing, and it had so many ideas, it had so many renditions and names and vibes. And when I came back and said that you'd said that just off the cuff, we instantly just kept talking about it and kept, you know, hypothesizing. And then, so there was an empty shop front in Pottsville that we sort of had our eye on, and it was pretty good, but that got taken off the table recently. And so a little bit further up the road at Cabarita Beach, there was a burger shop, which I loved. It was called Rita's, which only took me 6 months to realise that was short for Cabaritas, Rita's Burgers.
Right.
They unfortunately shut down recently, so a space has become available, and it just seems perfect. Like, T came in and had a look with us 2 days ago, and he was like, dude, this is like ticking way more boxes than any other space I've seen. So, yeah, we're sort of just in chats with the owner of that building at the moment. The neighbours are really cool. So that's what's the most up-to-date information. But, yeah, just trying to get all the other stuff happening, things like entities, budget, equipment list, just trying to navigate the actual business side of it, not just like the feel-good stuff, you know. Like you can just start a Facebook page, but like it's way more than that. You know?
Dude, we got business cards. We're good to go.
Let's do it. So that's that. Yeah, it's like all happening, but it just has to happen at its own pace. And the unique thing about where we are, there just is not a lot of commercial property. So that's been the biggest challenge. It's not like just here where you can just find another warehouse and get going. Like the biggest hurdle is finding a space at all, let alone the right space. So that's why this space that has come up is just, it's wildly appropriate, and it's perfect. It's Besser blocks, it's got that industrial feel, it's got the concrete floors, it's big and open. And it's like, I don't know, like a 20-second walk to the beach. Like
that's so cool.
It's so cool. Yeah.
So this would be, to clarify, if this goes ahead, this would be Jungle Cabarita Beach.
Yeah.
Right?
Does that sound good?
Fucking oath. Maybe Cabarita Beach is a bit of a mouthful.
It is a bit.
Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe you just, whatever you call it, it always ends up getting called something else.
Yeah,
like
true.
this place has always been called JB.
JB, right.
You know, by people didn't, some people would say Jungle Brothers or Jungle Botany. But yeah, so in that way, so I think about that, it would be like JC, rather.
Because there's a Cabarita here. There's been instances where I've had online shopping sent here. There's a Cabarita in Sydney.
Is it Cabarita or is it Cabrita?
No, I don't know. But there's Cabarita Beach where we are, but then there's Cabarita here in the CBD sort of thing.
Yeah, it's near where I grew up as a kid. Maybe it is Cabarita as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, fuck those guys. Yeah. Tell me what, and I want to dig into this a little bit because you're not going ahead with anything just yet. I think that's we're all pushing for fuck yeah, this is happening. But if this space doesn't go ahead, if you don't get it, then it's kind of like back to the drawing board, and then it's like, all right, we'll wait till we find the next thing. Assuming it does, though, for someone who had their own thoughts about opening a gym, so you said it had a whole bunch of different renditions, different names, vibes, all that sort of stuff. Just talk to me about what it was like then to settle on our thing, for us to go, hey, well, this is what we can help you with, and this is what the vibe would be, and this is what it would be called and stuff, and it would be yours. But talk to me about that.
I think not ultimately, but I think one of the biggest things was like being able to link arms with someone that you connected with, that the vibes were good, but that I really wanted to vibe with someone that was going to support us, because I think I've always been like a bit of a workhorse where I'm the manager, it's your business and I will run it for you, and I will turn up and I'll put all my efforts into it, but it always sort of sat with someone else to ultimately make those big decisions, okay? So I had a little bit of self-doubt in my own decisions, I guess. So with Alliance, it just felt like you guys were just there to support me. And there's an investment attached to that, but what the investment is support. It's not like licensing where just bullshit and branding. It's support, especially in these early stages where we're trying to navigate the not so fun stuff. You guys were going to show us what you know and the mistakes that you made so that we wouldn't have to do that. So that's a huge thing that's going to be apparent right now in this process. But also the programming and like the networking between the other gyms. I mean, I'm not obviously involved in these other franchises, but I don't feel like there's a lot of connection between the different branches of these different things. Like
F45 or whatever.
Like, do they have like a little F45 day where they connect, or do they like go hang out with each other? I've never heard of it,
Strangely, it doesn't seem like they do. Like the community thing's not really big.
Whereas here it feels like between Five Doc and Paulie being there and here, Tima sort of, being up at Ballina and doing workshops, like even that, I was like, cool, Luke, so we're going to do an exchange program where the coaches are going to all come up one by one and they're going to stay in our house in Potty and they're going to come and do some coaching, right?
That's a fucking cool idea.
So it's like
Make it a little holiday for the coach.
Holiday for them, and then we can promote them, and they can have a spot, and then maybe one of them goes, I want to be here. I want to be here with you guys. So, so I just love that. Like, what other place have you got that where you've got actual coaches being, grown elsewhere at HQ, for lack of a better term, and then, you've got access to them, or you can just bounce off them, or have them come visit. So there's just this huge networking that's happening and collaboration between the different branches. So that to me was like so cool, Programming, that's super cool too, because like back to that dilution thing, sometimes we know that the basics work, right? But sometimes they get a little bit boring, so it's cool to be able to see, that's how Karen's doing that, or, that's how Ryan's doing it, so just cool things like that where we can get a bit of a refresh regularly on different cool things. And the community thing, I think sometimes with gyms, it's just you have a membership and you go and that's it. Like, some people have a workout partner, some people meet their existing friends at the gym for a class, but here it really feels like it's not just about the workout. They stick around after, they come in early, they come in for the weekend stuff, they might meet up to watch the UFC, all that sort of stuff, and that's what I really want. I want to create a place where people it's a big community where we actually want to hang out outside of sweating it out, want to sweat it and kick it, so.
You were going to say family, weren't you?
I don't want to sound generic. I don't want to say that, man.
The whole thing is, right, like even saying community and stuff in relation to a gym these days, it's kind of cliche. Yeah,
because it's also bullshit. Like, they say it and it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, everyone does.
Like, what does that mean? Like, you're just going to do like a fire relief workout and now you're a community? I don't know. It's just bullshit. Where I wanted somewhere where we can actually talk about the stuff that we love outside of the workout, and like, hey, I'm interested in that thing. Do you want to do that together? Or maybe we should all get a group together and go make our own pottery mugs instead of buying them for $10 from Kmart. Let's spend $180 on a course and then wait 6 weeks for it to come. Does that sound cool? It sounds cool to me. Let's do it, just Northern Rivers things, But yeah, that's what I want. And I think this is why I was getting so emotional in the courses, because that's what I want. Like, I want to be part of that. So I was like, fuck, like, let's just make it. Like, let's make the place where I want to come, So, yeah, I guess that's why it's been so natural and easy to sort of come around to these decisions in such a short amount of time. It just seems natural and just speaks to what me and Luke want long term,
So cool, man. Yeah, we're so chuffed on it. What you just said then about wanting the place that you wanted to come to, that was one of the very first things we said about the gym that we built. Not this one, but the first one down the road.
Yeah.
Was that we want to build the gym that we want to train at.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, we said we want to attract the people that want to do the kind of shit, like do the same shit that we want to do. And in a way, that's a little bit of a cop-out, because that doesn't necessarily, that's not a marketing strategy, right? Like, but in terms of like what's an intention, like the kind of place you want to build, that's fucking cool. And where I think the franchise thing, which is obviously an alternative to say what we're offering, where I think that really falls short for people like us is that it's not honest. Like, it's not, sometimes it is, but most of the time the franchisee has become a franchisee because they want to make a sound financial investment. They're not like, hey, I really feel so passionately about these 45-minute workouts and I want to run this place and I want to build the tribe and I want to be the lead and I want to have this impact. It's like, yep, the model looks good. I think that if I go hard for a couple of years, I can get good return on that. Great, I'll pull the trigger. And it's not to throw shade on that, because that's also cool, right, if that's your intention. But if the intention is to create a place that you want to be at, I think it's a different thing. Like,
money makes the world go around. I get that, but I know that that's not our biggest motivator. Like, I know that. Like, obviously we want it to, be viable and profitable, and I want to be able to get oysters and expensive tequila and, go on holidays and stuff. but like realistically that I want to wake up every day and go somewhere where I can bring my daughter if possible and train with people and just open the doors to my space, you know, that and then I invite the people in and then we have a good time and then we see each other again the next time, you know, like, and that it's ours and that we get to make all the decisions on that place. Like I just think I'll be free in a way. Like I'll just feel I'll have more control as far as it'll sit with me, like all my happiness and everything will sit with me and my daily actions, you know, where when you're employed, then, yeah, you're just working for someone else and building their dream and ultimately everything falls with them as far as decisions and all that sort of stuff, you know. Like my current boss, he's amazing and all of my opinions matter and he trusts me so much. So it's not that I haven't had, you know, creative license or anything like that, but I do just want, I'm at an age now where I'm like, I just want to have something that's my own, and Luke's the same, and we want to be a good role model for our daughter as well, so she can see that, you know, if we do this, that she can do it too. Like my parents and Luke's parents in a way too, it's, you know, you go and you go to your job and you turn up and then you go home and then you do that for 40, 50 years and that's it, you know, and your opinion doesn't matter and you just are seen and not heard in a way. So, yeah, we're trying to break that model and just, it feels cool. It feels cool to be – and I guess that's the difference as well between your model and another sort of franchise is there's huge creative license there as far as bringing our own flavour to it or our own ideas to it, you know, whilst staying within the lines, whatever they are. You've literally never put any sort of parameters on what we can do with the spaces so far anyway.
Oh, really? I'll show you some today. But, yeah, no, that's always been a grey area for us, right? Keep it in line.
Yeah.
But also have your own bit of expression in there. It's a hard one to articulate, though I think we've done a pretty good job of it now.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know, let me spell it out.
Sure.
Right? So that, because people listening are like, well, what the fuck does that mean, Joe? So the training is 80% our methodology. And that means 80% of your weekly schedule is our core classes, strength and movement, lift, body weight, right? We give you the programming for those classes for the first 12 months, and there'll be more available if you need it following. But the idea is that we teach you those, like we teach you how to program for those. We teach you the intention of those 3 unique programs, how they fit together, and then we teach you how to program, and then you build your own classes around that stuff. So the particular way you go about the bodyweight stuff might be different to what you were doing with us in the first year. Right? Yours might be more of a calisthenics thing, or it might be more of a gymnastic strength training thing. Yep. Or maybe you're like, you know what, I'm really into pole at the moment and I want to bring in a bunch of pole conditioning. Like that all fits, right, in terms of bodyweight strength training. Lifting could be barbell, could be Olympic lifting, could be powerlifting, might be sandbags. We're talking with the guys in Dublin and they're like, hey, different story now because the space that they were looking at didn't work out, but they were looking at somewhere that was really small and they said, we probably can't do barbell training in there because it takes up too much room. But they're like, what about sandbags? Like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, why not?
So that's just a different expression of weightlifting, right?
Yeah.
So that's that side of things. So then it means you got 20% of your weekly schedule can be your thing. You know, what is that? Is that like, I don't know, are you really into like breakdancing? Do you want to have like some rock climbing shit going on in the gym? Is it, I don't know, is it a dance-based thing? Is it steel mace? Or perhaps is it not because steel mace is already in your lifting? Like, so it can shift, right? It's not like, hey, everyone has to run this programming and every gym needs to look exactly the same.
Yep.
In terms of how the gym looks, yeah, the branding's got to be the same, right? So it's following the colors and the style and the logo and all that sort of stuff. Your website will kind of follow those styles. And then the fit out of the gym, that also follows a look. But the look is basic. It's like black rubber mats, black and white walls, form ply, recycled timber, no shiny artificial stuff. Like, I mean, the form ply is artificial on the outside, but like no plastic shit, no fucking MDF cabinetry, you know, like it has the raw but clean, sturdy look.
Yeah.
Plants are in there. There's an acknowledgement to nature, you know. And so we have articulated those. Got to have a big stereo. Doesn't mean you have to pump it all the time, but it has to be capable of going hard if you need to.
Yeah.
So, it can't be like a Bluetooth piece, right?
Right.
Like it's got to be like a Bluetooth portable speaker. It's got to be.
Have you seen that new UE boom though? The big one? I think it's called a Mega Boom.
I can imagine it's pretty dope.
It looks as big as like a Milwaukee like tradie.
Holy shit.
But it
booms.
Yeah, it booms, dude. Like we used to have it on the beach workouts and it would like, yeah, it's awesome.
My cousin bought me a UE Boom Bluetooth speaker that's like this big when I was running Jungle Brothers classes in the park in Surrey Hills in like 2012. And I still carry that. I still got that speaker.
So good.
It's fucking unbelievable. Still works every time.
Yeah, they're good.
But anyway, point being, right,
Yeah.
there are parameters there, but it's like, it's just we're not trying to create robots. We're not trying to like create cookie cut mold kind of gyms, but we do want a common thread and a vibe and a feeling.
Yeah.
And so I suppose there's a lot of learning to come for us in not rolling out because that implies that it's like our thing, but in supporting this like next wave of ally gyms, we're going to learn a shitload in that process. And we're really kind of open in saying that it's like, hey, this stuff will evolve. Like our parameters, they could change a little bit.
Yeah, true.
But it's only going to change in the best way because as we realize maybe stuff that we weren't considering or things that, people that were really important to certain people that weren't important to us, we need to come up with an answer for that.
Yeah.
So, it would have been easier in a sense to go, it's franchise. This is the equation and you can't fuck with it. And in a way that's simple because it's like, great, I'm just doing that. But that wouldn't have been honest to who we are because we don't fuck with franchise stuff. I asked the guys at the information night I did the other day, I was like, we're talking about franchise and I'm like, show of hands, who bought their coffee from a franchise cafe this morning? Right? And no one puts their fucking hand up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, show of hands, who trains at a Globo gym? And a few people are like, yeah. And I'm like, keep your hand up if you openly talk shit about that place to your friends. And they're all like, yeah, I talk shit about the Fitness First I go to.
Yeah, wow.
I fucking hate it.
Wow.
Or the people at the front desk suck. They never make eye contact. Like, you don't respect the place. Going back to that like coffee thing, the franchise thing is like, because most of us, we value people who are having a go and putting some creativity and putting effort and trying to innovate and like we value that. And you don't necessarily consciously make that decision when you're like, where am I going to buy my coffee today?
Yeah.
But it's kind of why you don't go to Starbucks or why you don't go to, you know what I mean?
I just remember like, because I'm from a small town, when I go to the big cities, I like to do big city shit.
Yeah.
And I remember I had no context to this place. I had no idea. I was like, okay, it's like a CrossFit box, but different. And I met you and you're like, what are you doing? And I was like, I just Googled where the closest Starbucks is. So I'm going to go to East Gardens right now. And you're like, what the fuck? Do you like Starbucks? You fully gave me like fucking pigeon eye. You were like, fucking what? Like cocked your head. It's like, oh, you like Starbucks, do you? And I was like, oh, I want to do city stuff. I was here. You're like, oh, okay. And then that was on the Friday. And then by Sunday I had a very clear order, and I've never ordered a Starbucks since then because I know I'm like, you're like, no, we need to like, it's cool though because that was what I needed. I wanted to like stop just doing whatever and sort of like own every decision that I made. I got like a keep cup and shit because I used to go to the gym at 5 a.m. and make my own coffee in the gym in a takeaway cup. And drink that and then like throw that in the bin and I'd have 2 or 3 of those a day.
Okay.
And so then after the course I was like, better get a cup. So I got a cup and then I just drank out of that cup like the whole time. So I don't know, it's just funny. Like those little things rubbed off. So when you talk about, big chain coffee, I'm like, no, Joey says I can't do that anymore.
You're like, yeah, we don't fuck with that for at least like the last few months.
I miss those vanilla drinks. But yeah, no.
Don't get me wrong. If I'm in the States, I'll still fuck with Starbucks because it's the best coffee out there.
Yeah, true.
Unless, whatever, you're at some special joint. But yeah, like I think there's a lot in that. And I think that like you are who we're trying to appeal to, right? You got this dream and this thing and you've been talking about it with Luke for so long. And it's like, that's what we want. Like, yeah, you should be carrying the torch, Yeah,
it's cool. Again, like you said, appealing to me, like, I'm not from this space. Like, I think that's really important and scary and interesting is that I'm not from the movement community. I've not got a background in movement. Like, I just bailed on a movement program recently, which I felt devastated about doing.
About bailing?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I just felt really disappointed in myself, you know.
You didn't see it through.
I did it up to the end of that first phase, and then that was it. I didn't keep going.
Right.
For me, it was it was an online experience, so I just didn't thrive under that learning style. And every time I go down to Ballina, I love it because someone's touching me, someone's advising me in person. Doesn't look great. And they're helping me. Whereas online, I felt super isolated and stuff like that. So for me, I'm excited about creating a space where people like me who are new to this, environment can have an awesome coach teach them in person something that they have never tried before, whether it is handstands or ring work or any of that lever stuff. So I'm going to be all the other things, the movement as far as, the animal stuff and the groundwork and the lifting stuff, and then Luke's going to head the BJJ section of it. But yeah, still looking for a movement coach, guys, downstairs.
Call out.
But yeah, so I guess that's the most interesting thing about this model, and is the most challenging thing is going to be not selling it, but introducing this style of training to this community in the Northern Rivers. It's going to be different, not what they're used to. They're used to 75 different stations and just fucking pure chaos, If it doesn't feel dangerous and I'm in a fucking war, it doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? It's survival mode anyway. So to come into a gym where it's moderate as far as pace, but strong and a big focus on technique and this long journey towards different milestones, you don't get that. You just don't get that in other training facilities. So I'm really excited to do that. But it'll also, again, be a place that is for me. I'm going to go through a huge learning and physical journey, having this facility and working with an awesome coach that's going to help me as well, after having Suki, she's 2.5 now and I'm still on my comeback, so it's for me as well, selfishly.
But that's, I think that's the most sort of real place to do it from, right? And I wasn't, when we started this thing, I wasn't the movement guy.
Right.
I was compared to some, but I didn't. The work that I would do with, the movement community, Ido Portal, traveling, online coach, that didn't come until, years, right. A few years of, so we brought some other stuff, but that mostly came from martial arts and so I guess what I'm getting at is that it's unrealistic to think that anyone is going to have all of the skill sets at the very beginning. And I think that the people that you're coaching would vibe with the most is when you are also on a journey of your own, and then you are hey, this is where I'm at, this is what my experience was, let me pass that on to you. I think that's the coolest thing. So I get it. I get the concern, but I also think, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Tell me and that you may have already answered it, but what's the most scary part of this whole thing?
Yeah, just vulnerability in my own training, I would say. If we go back sort of 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, I was in the best shape of my life. Why the fuck didn't I open a gym then, Whereas now, yeah, there's, I said, I'm on my comeback journey, but at the same time, I've really come to realize in my time as a mum and being in the community that I am in, that they're just normal people. They're Gen Pop, they're there, looking to dip their toes in. And there will be some more experienced people, but the general population there will be starting out as well. And they'll be benefiting from the basics, and they'll be, just trying to get their first pull up and all that sort of stuff as well. So I'm there. I'm at that point of acceptance where I'm just accepting the place that I'm at in a good way, and I'm excited about it. So that there's that. And there's also, you know, leaving behind what I've been creating or what I've been running for the last 3 years, leaving that behind. That's obviously a little bit scary, but that's just a Band-Aid that I have to deal with. And again, this feels so right that I don't feel guilty about it anymore. I just feel like this is the most natural next step. So, and like, I don't know. What are your concerns? What are your concerns about me and Luke opening up an Alliance gym in the Northern Rivers?
My concerns are not at all related to you guys. My concerns are about our ability to deliver on our promise.
Okay.
And I don't doubt that we'll do that, but that's the level of kind of seriousness that I apply, you know, to what we're doing.
Okay.
Because it's one thing for us to go, you know, to sell a membership to a coach, to a member in the gym and go, I can transform your life if you give me 12 months, right? Like I'm really confident in that.
Right.
And, you know, we've done it for years. And now we're kind of saying, now we're selling to, hey, like if you open a gym with us, like you will build the gym of your dreams and it will be successful and you will have the space you've always wanted to create. And it's like, holy fucking shit, it's such a big promise in a way, right? You know, so that would be where my concern lies.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing where I used to shit myself a little bit with what we're doing in the gym. Like, fuck, does our programming work? Is this fight, lift, move thing actually even good? You know? And after enough time, I know that it is. So it's, yeah, I'm completely confident in that. But it's, yeah, that's the big idea, right? Like doing the scary thing.
I think we communicate pretty well, and I just want to keep that communication open. I think that's just the biggest thing that we can do for each other, because I think both of us are willing to put the effort in, whatever the task is that's at our feet at the time. I'm sure we're not like, I don't want to fucking do that. I'm going to do that shit for Joey. Like, I just think as long as we're constantly able to talk and text and email and like with T as well, like able to share our efforts, then, you know, like let's fucking get this bread, you know?
Man, let's do it. I strongly agree. Like it's the willingness and it's the discipline and the consistency and just being motivated to do shit. Like that's the thing that's hard to find. And if both parties have that, then the thing gets done. You know, it is a great success because all the other shit you can figure out.
Yeah.
Right.
We're all, I mean, it's all self-taught in a way, right? You like go, I don't know how to do that. So then you figure out how to do that, or you find someone that can do that. You don't just go, oh, Mom. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited. It's cool. It's cool. You going to come and hang out?
Fucking A, man.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, I came and visited you guys in Pottsville when I went up to Ballina last. What was that? That was, I don't know, a few months ago?
Yeah, like
something?
November, December.
Oh, was that last year?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
God, my fucking recollection of things
it
is
was
so
when
bad.
T had his accident.
It was too.
It was after his surgery and before the fire.
Yeah, okay, you're right, it was. Yeah, so it was last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, I'll come up there. I'll come up and you know, whatever, like whether it's helping with the setup or it's helping like get shit up and running once your doors are open, maybe run a workshop, like whatever.
Sick.
Yeah, I'll be down.
Come and get some more Wagyu. That was good Wagyu, right?
Oh, that Japanese place we went to was sick.
It was so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys can take me there anytime. That was sick. That was in Pottsville. How far is Cabarita Beach from Pottsville?
Like 10 minutes.
Okay, north.
Yeah, 10 minutes north. Yeah.
So would you expect that you get people from like crossing the border to come to your gym? Or is it kind of a bit of a division?
The thing about the Tweed Coast is people are driving up and down there for work anyway. So a lot of the time you can say they're coming home from work or they're on the way to work. So yeah, like from Ballina all the way up to Tweed or Gold Coast even, people are just driving up and down there all the time. So there's no, I think even T gets stuff, a lot of people traveling to his gym as well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, people don't mind a drive up that way, huh?
No.
A big drive. We don't mind a long drive in the city, but distance is a thing.
Yeah, that's weird.
People will happily sit in the car for 45 minutes, right, to get from, I don't know, the middle of like, to get from Bondi to wherever the fuck they're going for dinner that night, because it's just trafficy and shit.
Yeah.
But when I tell people, I live in the inner west, they're like, whoa, how do you do? I'm like, that's as long as it takes you to get to the cafe most days. It's just that I'm getting further for my time.
Well, it's the same. Like I used to drive to Ballina. I used to work in Ballina actually, and that used to take me an hour. But it's like I feel like it's like 70 k's or something. Like it was.
Yeah, when I was up there, you're covering a lot of ground.
Yeah,
but you're still just in the car for the same amount of time.
Same amount of time. Yeah. So, and it's a nice drive.
It is.
It's super nice up there,
especially in that G-Wagon.
Damn. Can you imagine?
I can.
It's going to be so dope.
You, that beanie, corduroy jumpsuit. Absolutely, I can. Mate, thanks for coming on today.
No worries. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to catch up.
Yeah, same.
We got some work to do now.
Yeah.
And we'll be hanging out again on Monday.
Sick.
Yeah, cool. For the listeners, you can follow along with the story. We'll check back in. I don't know. Maybe once you've come up, if this thing does go ahead, when you come up for air in 12 months' time.
I'm excited. Let's do it.
Fucking A. Guys, thanks for listening. Esther, thanks for joining.
No worries.
I don't think I mentioned your name on the whole episode, by the way. There it is. I will say it in the intro.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.